Guess we'll just wait a couple minutes. Nobody's in here, but all right. First person in the chat. You know, you can say something if you want. I'm gonna respond to everyone. When we get about a couple people in here, I'll just start talking about what this live's about. I mean, I guess it's kind of something that I don't know. Over the course of like 20 years or so, you kind of realize that, like, yeah, your interests change a little bit. Like, sneakers are always gonna be there, but it gets to a point where you have too many. And it wasn't until kind of recently that I guess I started to realize that you just don't need this many shoes, right? It's overkill. So I want to talk a bit about that. I got some pickups here that I want to show you guys. Still kind of new to this live thing, so you know, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but hoping to do this for about 15 minutes or so. But behind me, yeah, I mean, I got tons of shoes here. Like, I think the last time I counted, I was sitting at, in the cases, like in those plastic cases, it's around 109. Now you can't see it. I'll show you both sides. It goes behind that plant, and then it goes all the way to that end. And there are 12 columns. No, sorry, there's 12 per column. And so there's about like 10 odd columns in total. So there's that, and then there's obviously the ones in the boxes, which are pretty much covering everything, which is like the ones in the boxes right now I'm either selling or bringing back to storage. I'm just not, like, I'm not wearing them as much. And then I'll show you guys the closet here. There is maybe 40 odd pairs in the closet. So in total, like, yeah, I mean, we're hitting around, I want to say the 200 mark, which is absurd. You know, sometimes I have these conversations like, oh, how many shoes do you have? How many shoes do you have? And it's not even me trying to say, like, I got a lot of shoes and this is supposed to be a flex. It's honestly me collecting shoes over time, not wanting to disclose the number because I don't really feel there's any real need for that. And then just losing count, or just having so much that you can't, like, get rid of some. And some of them are, you get sentimental value. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. Oh, I got the hard eyes in there. Thank you. That's my wife, by the way. You get this sentimental value for objects. It's the weirdest thing in the world. So I mean, at least I do, and I'm sure everyone here can probably relate to something similar. You can't get rid of something. And, you know, I've been through this conversation before, friends and family, even my wife. You get something special from someone, like any object. Say it's from your parents, or say it's from your family or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, and you feel this need that, like, they are connected to this object somehow. Which, if you think about it, they could be, you know, but that's based on how you see the object. It's not like my dad gave me this deodorant. Okay, he gives it to me, like, because he knew that, like, whatever, he knew I need deodorant. I wouldn't connect this deodorant to him. So why would we do that with other products? And so that is part of the psychology behind collecting sneakers for me. Like, I don't necessarily hang on to things because I got them from a certain person, but they definitely trigger certain, like, memories or things that happen when I got them that makes me feel like, oh, I want to keep that. Some shoes, like, it took me like months or years to track down, right? And once you get it, you kind of think, man, I'm never gonna find this again. So I've built some sort of connection, some sort of, like, whatever, with an object. And really, when you look at shoes, it's just leather. It's just foam. glue. That's all it is, right? Nothing extremely special. These sneakers here, recently picked these up. Haven't seen these shoes in person ever. You guys might look at them and kind of say, oh, this is just like a regular New Balance, whatever it is. Which it is. It absolutely is. But this shoe came out in 2009. It's the collaboration with sneakers and stuff. Again, may mean nothing to people unless you are a sneaker person. But it was a collaboration they did in 2009. Haven't seen them since. I've seen a couple pairs on eBay, but that's it. Now this shoe, I know that if I get rid of this, it could be years and years and years before I get it back. But that gets like, I don't know. It's just a very, very picky, specific thing for me that other people may look at this and be like, yeah, I'm not interested in this at all. So, that's kind of like what, you know, I've been, I guess, thinking about a little bit in terms of the sneaker collection and being able to separate myself from having that emotion towards, you know, shoes that are just, you know, leather and glue, right, at the end of the day. I'll take you guys through a couple pickups, because I know I'm going to go and leave this on the channel after for some people to watch. I know it's a random time to go live right now, Friday afternoon, but shout out to Under Armour. They sent me over this hat and a couple other things. I like this, kind of this like, I don't know, it's a nylon hat, but it's like, there's no structure. I like the structure, it has a bit more, so I'm starting to see what all the hype is about over there. So appreciate that. I got these. These are, let me show you guys if I can. These denim jorts are, yeah, they're fire. They're from Stussy. Big old jeans. Some of you guys might have these already. And yeah, jorts have made a huge comeback. Like, I can't believe it, because that's something I would have worn in the early 2000s. Like when I was, you know what I mean, when I was growing up as a kid. So now, like, to see it come all the way back around as a trend, it is insane. But if you guys are looking for a good pair of jorts, like, dude, Stussy's been around since forever, but the branding's really nice. See if I can show you a better look at them. On the front, super simple. You have the little logo there on the pocket, but it's just like it's not even a wash denim. It's actually a raw. It looks like a raw denim, and basically all that means is just it's like a lot darker. It's kind of like an indigo. And then on the back, it's pretty plain. This is actually the tag. I just haven't removed it because I haven't worn it yet. And then the quick little like logo. So it's very like not flashy, not super branded, but it does hit just below the knee. And I'm wearing a pair of those right now. You guys probably can't even see it, but I'm wearing them now. I was always wearing those athletic shorts that were like above the knee. That was just kind of the oh wow. Noah, been tapped in since the Thunder 14 on feed video. Love the content. Appreciate you watching. That must have been Thunder 14s. Shoot, what year is that? That had to be 2013 or 14 or yeah, probably since the beginning of the channel. So Noah, appreciate you watching and still tuning in. We're still making content. Just trying something different with the live. So yeah, I mean, I've been wearing a lot more of these like different things that I you know, trends change, right? And I never thought once I'd be like, oh, I'll be wearing jorts and shorts below the knee. Like that's a very like, I'm a millennial, right? That's something I grew up on. Now to be able to wear that again, is it appropriate at my age? I don't know. But sometimes when it comes to like, not even fashion, just like things that you gravitate towards that you like, you shouldn't even overthink it. If you like sneakers and you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 7 years old, yeah, some people might look at that and like judge you for a certain reason, be like, oh, that's very childish of you. Like, that's very childish for you to continue wearing sneakers. You should grow up and wear something different. Yeah, of course. Some people are going to judge you for anything. Even if you like those little Labubu toys. Like, people are like hating on people for having the little Labubu toys. I don't like it. But there are grown people out there with them on their bags and stuff because they like it. And so whatever it is that you like, don't overthink it. Just enjoy it, right? Because life's getting shorter. That's the biggest message for today. Just buy what you like or consume what you like or even just whatever you have that's going on, you know, just enjoy it. Don't overthink it. This bag right here, again, Supreme, like, and again, I don't want to show all these like labels and like I'm showing off and stuff like that. I don't want to do that. I just want to show some things that I'm happy about that I picked up recently, like within the last month, that I enjoy. Need more of the 90s drip to come back. 100%. This is more like 2000s, early 2000s stuff, but the 90s for sure. and we're seeing sprinkles of that with like throwback jerseys and things like that. Like I love that era too. I agree with you, Noah. But in terms of the duffel, this isn't a huge duffel. I had a Nike Elite duffel, but I got rid of that because it was the same size as this one, and I just like this one. I mean, it has a little box logo, the Supreme on each side. It can fit, like, easily fit like a pair of shoes, couple pairs of shoes. I was gonna use this for basketball, so you can put a full basketball in here, pair of shoes, water bottle, whatever you need. So these duffels are so good, not just for the gym, but just for like every day. So I was super excited to get this. I have been using it a lot. And the thing I want to tell you guys about before we kind of get into some of the subjects, a couple people are tuning in, which I appreciate. If you are into sneakers or streetwear or you know, any of this kind of stuff, where back during like COVID, it was very, very difficult to get a lot of this stuff because there were so many premiums on it. Like, you had to pay a lot of money to get involved in a lot of these things. And the fact of the matter is, it's expensive. You know, not everyone can participate in these things even if you want to. But now that things have kind of shifted, trends have changed, there's not that whole resale culture as much as there has been in the past. You can obtain a lot of these things that you want to buy back in the day. You can get them for a great price right now. And so this bag, I picked this up technically, I guess, like secondhand, I guess, but the guy only had it for, he said he had it for a year, but he used it for like a couple times just sitting in his closet. Because I picked up a pair of Citrus 7s with him from him as well, I grabbed this for $50 Canadian. So that's like 35 like US for all the Americans watching, which is a crazy steal. I think retail on this was 130 or 140 US. So again, there's stuff out there if you are looking for things, especially brands that, like, the new generation, let's be honest, like the new generation doesn't see this brand as like extremely favorable. They see it as like an older, like not cool brand, and that's completely fine. You know, there's probably certain people like my age or whatever they're watching that still appreciate the brand, but you can find these kind of items for great prices. And then I did want to show you these two pickups. I showed this earlier in the video, but for those that know, I mean, shoot, these are crazy. Like, some people might look at these and be like, I don't know what that is. Made in England, green New Balance, 1900, whatever, right? This is a Sneakers and Stuff collaboration from 2009. Now, funny story, I grabbed these, again, another story of me picking things up very randomly from people that are selling them for ridiculous prices. I grabbed this, I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, okay? And it wasn't labeled correctly. So that's one thing you guys gotta remember. If you're buying stuff like secondhand or used or whatever, it's not always about searching the actual specific term that it is. Like, it's not like Jordan 4 or whatever. You're not gonna necessarily find those items right away. You have to kind of just browse and use random words. So I was just browsing, right? And it just showed up, I guess, on the algorithm, whatever. They didn't even really label these correctly. All they said, at least you pick up more than Nike Jordan. Hey, appreciate that. I'll tell you more about that. I'll answer that in a second. But I'll tell you guys about this. So I was on Facebook Marketplace. These were sitting there. Person took a photo. And the person selling it, I could tell by the display photo, it probably wasn't theirs. First of all, it's a woman. This is a size 11 men's shoe. So I was like, okay, maybe she's selling them for her husband or her friend or brother or whatever it is. Doesn't really matter, right? And they were up for $100 Canadian. Now, again, this shoe, if you go search it like on eBay or whatever, they're sold listings in worse condition than this around like $500-600 Canadian. So this shoe is like, for those that want it, I'm not saying it's a super like sought after shoe, but those that are looking for it, it's hard to get and people are charging crazy prices. I meet the woman for this shoe. Definitely not like a sneaker collector, definitely not. Didn't even really know what she had. She just showed a shoe, took a photo of it, said New Balance, green New Balance, size 11. That's it. And so when I met her, I was curious because you know, when you meet some people and they have good stuff, you got to kind of ask them like, what else do you have? You know, I've done that before and I've ended up getting like tons of shoes. Like, some of the stuff behind me is from meeting up with people and I'm finding great deals. And she's like, yo, I got a bunch of this, and this. And it was just random stuff. And she just basically said, yeah, I'm selling it on behalf of a client. I don't know what that means. I didn't ask anymore. It didn't sound like she wanted to answer it. But that's how I got those. Next shoe here, before I get into that, I want to just answer that. At least you pick up one of Nike Jordan. I appreciate you saying that. Jordan, though, was definitely the first kind of like brand I got into. And this would have been years and years ago. So my first pickup ever and this is for all the people that maybe can relate to this. It was 2000. It was 2002 or 2003. And remember, like when you're a kid, you're not buying sneakers like that. Like they're very expensive. You guys all know that, right? So when I got them, they were a hand-me-down pair. They weren't even like they weren't a new pair at all. They were a pair of the 2000, or they were the 97 or 2000. It was one of the two. So it was either the He Got Game from 97 or the 2000 Black and Red 6. I got them right around the same time. And they were like, I went to the school, and the kid's older brother was a huge Jordan guy. And when we were, I was 12 years old, right? And 12, 13 years old, you can't be buying sneakers. Your parents, you guys all know this. Your parents weren't buying you Jordans when you're a kid. That's just not a thing, right? You get one pair of shoes for the whole year, and you gotta wear those. You gotta make sure they last you through gym, or they last you through like running through the yard, recess, whatever it is, right? You're a kid. You're having fun with shoes. You're not like tiptoeing around necessarily making sure they're gonna stay pristine, but that's all you get. So I remember at the beginning of the school year, you get that one pair of shoes. I got a pair of shoes from my parents that were just like your everyday, and then you get a pair of shoes. I got a pair of shoes for basketball, and that's when I started playing ball in high school. But that was it. Once you had those two, if you had holes in them by beginning of the year, January, February, you still got 5 more months. You got to get through it. So when I was able to find myself getting sneakers, hand-me-down sneakers, I was gladly accepting them, even if we were paying like $20 and they had holes in them. You would just clean them up. You get the toothbrush and the laundry detergent. Like we were hustling. Like we were trying to make sure we build a very small little like rotation, I guess, in a way. And my friends and I at the time were very aware of Jordan brand and sneakers, even though it wasn't at all what it's at right now. You guys gotta remember, like early 2000s, there was sneaker culture, but it was probably considered more like a subculture, right? Subculture just meaning like more of like an underground, less talked about, not super in the mainstream spotlight commercial. Like it wasn't really like that. There would be commercials like Jordan commercials, and like you see Barkley commercials and stuff like that, Pippen and whatever, but they would show the shoes, but it was like performance, and it was starting to cross over into fashion a bit more, especially in the early 2000s. You remember Nelly's got the Air Force Ones on, all of that media really made you want this stuff even more, right? I turn on the TV, open a magazine, you got Double XL magazine, you look at that, you see all the guys wearing shoes, and that was our version of like the TikTok, the internet, the Instagram, the YouTube back then, because we didn't have that. There wasn't internet, right? So you start to see these photos, you start to see what people are wearing. Fresh Prince, Will Smith, he's on TV, he's wearing Jordans. Like these are all things you get to look at and go, oh wow, I really want that one day. And so now, like fast forward, like I look back on those shoes and a lot of stuff that I'm picking up, like look at these. Like some people know what these are, some people don't. If you don't, that's completely fine. But these are shoes that I would see back in the day and be like, I want that shoe. I don't know what that shoe is. I would look at this shoe and be like, I don't know what that shoe is, but I want it one day. And when I got older, that's partly why I'm in my 30s now. It's partly why I continue to maintain this like love for sneaker culture, because it happened early in the day. It was a way for me to bond with other people and kids and friends. And it was very small. Like it was very like yeah, appreciate Shaq knows this. So this guy knows. Appreciate you, Wutej. I don't know if I pronounced your name right, but it would be like a situation where you have this small kind of, it's almost like a secretive, like I don't want to say a secret society. It's not like corny like that, but it felt it was something like you'd wear shoes and like only some people would know about them. You know what I mean? Like only some people would see them and be like, oh, those are the new SBs, or like those are the new J's or whatever. Other people would just be like, oh, those are cool shoes. And now fast forward, it's completely different now. The access of information is extremely easy. You can search up a shoe and get it. Next day you can get it shipped to you. You can be a sneaker collector or whatever in a week. I could have all the shoes, 500 pairs of shoes are the best shoes. As long as I have a ton of money, I can buy all these collections. Now back in the day, you couldn't do that. You had to find the shoe. You had to go and maneuver to different stores and word of mouth. Oh, this shoe's coming out at this store on this day. Like you got to show up. You're in line. You're buying the shoe, and it was exclusive in that sense. And now the game has changed in a big way. Now there's pros and cons. So I was reading some of the comments here. Man, I love sneakers. Great time to be a sneakerhead nowadays. 100%. Because one, you can get any shoe you really want at any time. You don't need to grind go on the subway and travel to the other part of the city. You can go ahead and order that shoe online. It comes the next day, and you can participate in this sneaker culture very easily. There's no like barriers, right? to me, that was a fun part of sneaker culture. I really loved that. You know, that was what made sneaker culture what it was. Now I don't feel as much of that, but it's definitely opened up different pathways for people to explore and get involved. And sneakers, like I've always said this, even in some of my videos, it's never something that I believe should have barriers at all. Like even financial barriers, I just don't like that, because like everyone should be able to participate. Even those that can't, you know, some people say, oh, you can't be a sneakerhead unless you don't have 100 pairs. I would argue that you can be a sneakerhead and have 0 pairs, to be honest. If you're like super involved in like, you just love nerding out and studying and reading and educating yourself on shoes, that's sneakerhead to me. I could care less about what you have. This shoe right here, Shaqnosis. I saw this when I was a kid. Like, and when I mean a kid, I mean like 10 years old. Like, looking at this shoe. Imagine like this shoe walking around. There's no internet or anything, and you see this shoe walking around like kids on the playground and doing all those kind of things. I didn't know what this was. There's no way to just like take a photo and put it on Google or like search it on the internet and figure it out. I just saw a shoe with this hypnotic circles on it. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and it's cool. And it got burned in my brain until like later on I was able to actually find this shoe, hunt it down, get it for myself, and wear it. And the first time I got it was 2013 when they came out. This is the latest 2020 version, I think. But again, this is a shoe that like it means something to me. You might see it. You didn't see it as a kid, maybe. This doesn't really necessarily mean much to you, and that's completely fine, because there's shoes nowadays. Like maybe there's Travis Scott's. Like I can show you some, but like the Travis Scott's, like you guys know about those. That's a shoe that maybe the kids of today see and be like, that brings me back to my youth and childhood. So it really kind of varies. I want to show you a couple cool things. Maybe I'll go through this, because I appreciate you guys commenting. Absolutely, even some of the retros being at Ross or Burlington, exciting, especially for people who actually like kicks. Italy 2's at Burlington. Great shoe, great leather, great shoe. No reason why it should be on super discount, just because people maybe aren't feeling that shoe. 2s have always been kind of a tough sell in general, but I love those Italy 2s. I want to get a pair of those. Go for the sneakers on clearance or huge sales like I do. Completely agree. That's kind of how I started, actually. Like, you know, when you're a kid, like even when you're an adult, you know, it's shoes are expensive. Shoes are not something that you need. You need them to wear, to walk around, to protect your feet from the ground. But other than that, people could argue you have 1 pair of shoes and you're good. And I actually don't have an argument against that. I think that's completely correct. However, for people that like to have like a rotation and different things to style with different outfits, it makes sense. Now, at that age, young age, old age, it doesn't really matter. You can't be spending $300 for a pair of J's every single time. Like I'm gonna take some out right now. Like you can't be spending $300 every single time you go out. I'm just grabbing these because they're right here. But like these shoes in Canada, after retail, this is a $330 shoe. $330 Canadian. Can you believe that? Crazy. Even myself looking at it now, I just can't. This is not $330. Especially people that are like paying more than that. You're expecting a designer shoe. You're expecting like some sort of crazy quality. This is nothing. This is glue and it's just nothing. So when I see good prices, like that's absolutely the kind of shoe you should buy. There's no reason why the rarity of a sneaker should necessarily dictate a price that's like 2, 3, 4, 5x the actual price of the shoe, because let's be honest, you're buying a Travis Scott shoe for $1,000. I guarantee you it doesn't have $1,000 worth of quality materials. That's just what it is, right? So if you see a great sneaker that you know is on sale, pick it up. You're probably gonna have just as much satisfaction out of it without the hype. Now I'm gonna go check it out. I've been getting into Converse weapons. Yeah, Converse weapons, absolute classic. I mean, I had a pair of those in high school. It was great. What else we have here? I go for sneakers on clearance. Yeah, we talked about that. Shaqnosis are fire. Yes. Carol, what do you see happening in the coming years? Yeah, I mean that's a good question, Carol. Thanks for commenting. You know, COVID allowed people to let's just rewind. During COVID, people were at home a lot, right? We had extra income to spend on certain things. We weren't spending on trips and going out and all that kind of stuff. So like a lot of commodities, sneakers became very, 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 very cool. They became very sought after, a bit rarer because supply or demand was exceeding supply. So many people got involved in sneakers. That opened the doors for a lot of new sneakerheads and sneaker collectors, which is awesome. Economy also kind of helps shape where sneaker culture is going. So from a trend perspective, it kind of like, I think it's kind of like deteriorated a little bit, but it's still very much alive, and I think it's going really still pretty strong. The resale prices, if we want to talk about that, isn't where it was before, because supply has now met demand, and even to a certain extent exceeded it in a lot of different shoes. So that's why you see them at Burlington and Ross, and you see them on sale. You go into Foot Locker or Champs, whatever it is, you got sale tags all over the wall. That's because it's not necessarily because people aren't buying them, but we made tons of them now. Nike made 3, 4, 5x what they normally make or whatever it is, so everyone can get shoes, and not everyone is buying like 5 pairs of these, or I don't need a shoe every single weekend. Where do I see it going? It will continue to grow 100%. I think sneakers, the reason, one of the main things that I see about sneakers, that like back in the day, the only way you could see sneakers were really just like outside, on foot, and in magazines and movies and TV shows. Like, that's it. Now, footwear, even if I'm not like a sneaker creator on YouTube or TikTok or whatever talking about sneakers, guess what? Those people are actually collectors as well. I follow this home decor guy. He does a whole bunch of home stuff, and he has a crazy collection, but he never talks about it or discusses it. But I can see it in the background. Like, he just kind of hints at it in the background. I'm like, oh wow, this guy's like, he's got 30, 40 pairs. Like, he's someone that really appreciates sneakers, and it's not necessarily something that people want to talk all about all the time. It's just something that a lot of people are now tapped into, and it's just part of their everyday. Whether it's like they have a great connection to basketball, and they're watching their favorite players in the NBA wear a certain shoe, and that's now made them feel inspired to go out and buy the shoe. Sure, it could be people that are just really into fashion. They could care less about Michael Jordan or a certain athlete or whatever. Instead, they say, "Okay, this looks like a good shoe because I'm into like fashion, and this is gonna look great with this outfit." So it now it's kind of opened it up to like not just being like one lane, where I think is very like basketball or skateboard driven. If you're into those two things, then you're probably gonna be into sneakers. Now it's totally different. It's fashion. It could be you're into basketball. It could just be someone that's just like, I just like shoes. I don't care about basketball. Never watched basketball in my life, never played it, but I just like shoes. There's people like that too. And then there's also the collecting aspect. There's people that don't wear their shoes. That part I don't quite understand as much, but they just want to display them, and all the more power to those people as well. They just want to like look at pretty shoes. I mean, when the shoes kind of get beat up, they don't look as nice, right? So I do understand that as well. So again, Carol, to answer your question, I think we're heading a continued growth direction for the next 10, 20, 30, forever years. It will continue growing. The interest from a brand perspective is going to shift. And the reason for that is this shoe right here, for those that don't know, Michael Jordan stopped playing in 2003. That was the last time he played in the NBA. You guys all know Michael Jordan's name. Michael Jordan, now look at him. He's an old guy. He's like twice my age, and I'm not young. I'm not the target customer for these shoes. So does the kid now that's born in the year 2000, year 2010, I mean, think about it. Kid could be born in 2010. He's 16, 15 years old right now. Does he even know who Michael Jordan was? Like, when he was born at age 0, age 1, Michael Jordan hadn't even played in the league for 7 years. At least for me, I got to kind of see the tail end of his career on TV, so I'm like aware of who he is. But for someone new, they don't know who Michael Jordan is, nor should they even care. So then when you see this shoe and you say, oh, I got a pair of J's on, I got a pair of Jordans on, it's like, well, I don't even know who Jordan is. I don't even care who Jordan is. So I don't wear Jordans. I wear something else. I got the Reebok Question yellow toe. I love that shoe. Reebok Question is Allen Iverson's shoe. Allen Iverson is part of my, kind of like when I started getting into basketball, like early on as a kid, like he's the way the people that saw Michael Jordan play, like I saw, my Michael Jordan was like Iverson and like Kobe and LeBron, like that era. More so LeBron and Iverson. Kobe was a little bit before that, but still. But I spent close to $200 on a Jordan when I can get 2 weapons for half the price. Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you something. Those shoes probably all cost the same amount. The shoe that's $300 probably costs the same amount as the shoe that's $150 or $100. It's all the same, right? Again, this isn't like some mind-blowing. Again, like I said, like these shoes cost 2 different prices. They're just glue and leather and some fabric, and like that's it. There's nothing special about this. This isn't Louis Vuitton or some designer thing. But because of demand and all that kind of stuff, like we've now created these different pricing models, which have changed the way we buy and see shoes. Like we see brands differently and prices differently. So I agree with that. Nike is so behind on comfort that they aren't worth the price. Yeah, they they are in some trouble for sure. They have been for a minute. I think that Nike needs to innovate a lot more. Like, think about it. They've been fantastic at. They have one of the biggest arsenals and most known brand names ever. Every single person knows what Nike is. You can ask your grandma today. You can, hey, do you know what Nike is? She can be like, yeah, I've heard of Nike before, right? They have an arsenal of athletes. They have an arsenal of like some of the greatest models ever, right? Everything from the Jordan line. And remember, Nike owns Jordan, right? So everything from the Jordan line to the Nike line beyond. And they can bring back those shoes. That's the great thing. Like, they were popular in the 80s. They were popular in the 90s. They're popular in the early 2000s. Guess what? We have 30 years of really great models. We're going to keep bringing them back over and over and over and over and over again. And we're going to keep selling them. Now, think about it. You got these new brands coming in. I wish I had some here. But you got like the Asics. You got the New Balance. You got all these other brands, right? Saucony, that are coming in and saying, we have brand new cool stuff that we're going to bring to the table, as opposed to relying on the old stuff. And there's only so much you can do with old stuff. Like, you can't just keep bringing back the old things and hoping that like that's going to be enough to keep people interested. I feel as though you need to continue iterating, like continue bringing new stuff to the table. You guys all know that. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect growth. You got to do something different. That's why I'm doing YouTube Live, right? But but yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I think Nike needs to change up what they're doing. They need to switch it up a little bit and bring some new innovation to the table. You see new brands doing that. Like you said, I don't even know who said that, but from a comfort perspective, 1000%. There's some Nike models like, dude, after Jordans, like I'll wear those for a full day, and I'll just be like, I gotta take these off in like 2 hours. They are just uncomfortable, just like not great. Versus like an Asics, like I wear my Asics, I wear my Birkenstocks. Like, I never thought I would have said that back in the day, but like I wear Birkenstock, like little slides. They're cozy and comfy. I'm telling you, like you can walk all day and kind of forget you have them on. On running, all those running brands, like the technology in some of those they're so comfortable. You can wear them. You don't even know you're wearing shoes. They look great, and you're not like aching when you take off your shoes, like a pair of J's. Let's be honest, most Jordans aren't comfortable. So 100%. They are sneakerheads who will buy children's pairs just to say they have them. Yeah, I don't know what that's in reference to, but I mean, I think you're right. You're just saying just to have them as a collection or a collection piece and just to look at them. Yeah, I mean, probably. Carol, what's the thought process to decide your next sneaker? Which one should I buy? LOL. Yeah, I mean, the best thing I can say to guide you, I mean, my process is gonna be different than yours. The stuff I'm hunting down is again, like I said at the beginning of the live, is like, it's a lot of it's nostalgia. Like, I'm not even really buying the new stuff as much. I'm buying stuff that triggers something in my head from way back as a child that said, oh, I really wanted that, but we couldn't afford it, or I couldn't get it, or I didn't know where to get, or whatever any explanation. I'm trying to find those things. And I found that in order to, I don't want to be such like a consumer, but that's part of what this hobby is, and any hobby for that matter. You have to consume a little bit. But I am finding those things to trigger those moments, and I don't know why. There's probably some psychology thing involved in this, to get back those feelings of like, oh, I really wanted that as a kid, now I have it now, and it feels great. So those are things I'm looking after. For you or someone else that's interested in buying shoes, the thought process, don't overthink it. I would say the best thing is, yes, if you want to have like 1 or 2 pairs of shoes, and you just want to kind of like be part of like new trends or whatever, look at what some of these great, these platforms, StockX, Go, like look at what the most popular shoes are, and you can kind of get an idea of like, okay, this is the most popular shoes right now, these are most trending models, so when I step out on the streets, most people are gonna be wearing these. If you want to look like everybody else and kind of, it's I'm not saying that in a mean way, I'm saying like you want to feel involved like everyone else and kind of in the know, like everybody loves that feeling, right? Then just look at what popular styles are. Use some of those platforms to just see the best selling shoes. That's the best way to get involved. And there's great shoes out there. Adidas, Asics, New Balance. You don't have to just look at Nike. Like there's bigger, not bigger brands, but like brands that are taking the spotlight right now that were previously never in the conversation, that are now making great shoes, comfortable, and great prices. You're not spending $300 on a pair of shoes. You can get them for like $100. I like the Asics Gel Cano, Carol, Cano 14. I also like, if you want to write this down, the Asics Gel 1130. that is to me a very nice summer sneaker. It's more of like a trainer looking sneaker. Looks great. I'm sorry I don't have it right here in front of me, but it looks fantastic, comfortable, and a really great price point. You can get them at, I think, just over $100 US, 110, 130, something of that nature, and you're gonna have them all summer into next year. Good shoe. What else we got going on here in the comments? I would say buy what you like, no matter what. Oh, I didn't even read that. Hey, size on 26, you nailed it. You're spot on with that. Just buy what you like, man. You don't even have to follow the trends. Just look at a shoe and be like, you know what? I like that. I don't care who's wearing there, if it's trending or not, or who cares? I like it. That's exactly how, not just sneakers, but everything should be, man, including like some fashion stuff. Like I said at the beginning, like if you like something, just wear it. Just buy it. Just do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. 'Cause at the end of the day, like I promise you, that people out there are thinking more about what's on their own feet and what's on their own bodies than what's on yours. I don't think people are gonna walk by and be like, oh yeah, that's crazy that person wore that brand. And they're gonna think about that for the next 2-3 days and worry about it. No, and everyone's just worried about themselves. So just worry about yourself. What we got here? Leaning towards Reebok and weapons because I like the underdogs and they improve their comfort, unlike Nike. 100%. Converse has been doing great stuff. Reebok, I mean, these are brands that historical brands. They've been around forever. And again, they are bringing back old models, but they have historical models just like Nike, and they have new stuff too. So definitely nice to always like check out different brands. Not everything needs to be like super trending on blogs and on TikTok and stuff. You know, TikTok is to me the best, fastest way to find a trending shoe. Carol, to go on there and just be like sneakers 2025. You can just write down the search bar. You'll get guys out there, girls out there showing their collections of just like, you know, sneakers that are very popular right now. What are Achilles injuries in the NBA are the Achilles injuries in the NBA hurting sneaker sales? That's crazy, dude. I appreciate these questions because these are actually very insightful, thoughtful questions. I would say I didn't even think of it from that perspective, but I would say from like a performance, like basketball sneaker perspective, it's possible. I don't know if all three, for those that don't know, there was 3 ACL injuries in the postseason of the NBA against 3 superstars. I think I don't know if people were necessarily thinking about sneakers were the reason for that, as opposed to like the amount of pressure and stress they're putting on athletes during games. Like they're just loading them. Like with the rest time isn't there. They're playing 38-40 minutes a game. You know, that's going to take a toll on your body when you're playing 7 games in a series. So that's probably why a lot of those things happen. But yeah, I mean, it could impact sneaker sales too. I'm not sure. The kids these days, I was just reading, like they are putting themselves through so much more intensive exercise when they're training for basketball than kids of any other generation. And they're getting these injuries that typically we see in athletes at an older age, in their 20s. Kids are getting them in their teens, which is insane. Imagine your whole career, your whole future in a certain sport is potentially cut short because you overworked your body at a young age, and now you have an injury that prevents you to going to the next step. That's crazy to me. But this we can talk about basketball another time. Let's see, Achilles injuries. How do you feel about people back-footing pairs? Like backdooring pairs? Oh yeah, backdooring. Honestly, like I was always someone that I don't like that personally very much because I don't love that whole backdooring thing at all, because it really is just ending up in the hands of people that want to sell them, and I'm all for people that want to be entrepreneurs. I guess that's cool. You know, you're making money off shoes or whatever. Like, how can I hate on that? How can I hate on someone doing something to make money? But at the same time, there are people out there that just want to wear the shoe. You know, that just want the shoe for their own personal consumption. And I think that hurts people that just want to go out to pick up a pair. And like, I saw something. This would have been last year, but it was pretty sad. I was like in a Foot Locker or whatever, and this shoe came out, I think, that day. And this person that obviously was a little bit older, but she didn't realize that they would just sell out and like that kind of stuff would happen. And she just genuinely asked about the shoe, and the worker kind of like laughed in her face, like, yeah, those are gone. and she just felt very like she just looked very like defeated, and it just made me feel kind of sad because obviously that person just showed up just to buy a shoe. Like they don't know anything about resale culture or anything. They just showed up at a sneaker store to buy sneakers, and they weren't there. And so what I like about what's happening right now is that what I like about what's happening right now is that more and more like sneakers, you can find sneakers under retail, like more than ever, right? Which means this whole backdooring thing isn't happening as much. People complain about that. They're like, oh, these sneakers are whack because they're sitting on shelves and you know people don't want them. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Now we should be happy. We can actually buy a lot of these shoes that, you know, previously we may have to pay $50, $100 over retail. We can get it for sale now. We can get it on sale, you know, at retail, under retail. It just allows people that want to participate in it to be able to participate. Almost bought a Mellow 12, but just couldn't spend the money. Yeah, I like that shoe. Definitely, I can tell right now, if you're liking that shoe, you're probably someone that's a little bit like, probably around my age or whatever. That means something to you. Carmelo Anthony means something to people that are, you know, that are a little bit older, I guess, right? Because he actually was someone that was playing in the league and made an impact when people knew about him. Now the Melo that people know is not Carmelo, it's LaMelo, who's also a fantastic player, but different age group that would see that player and see someone that's like see that name in a more noticeable way than Carmelo Anthony. Too bad that Converse is owned by Nike. Yes, it is. You are correct. Resellers is just a fancy name for scalpers who don't want to be called scalpers. Yeah, that's it. 100%. Man, you should do this. You should do this live thing. Where's your channel? That's exactly what it is. There's not really any other reason to call them resellers. They're just people that they're no different than ticket scalpers or anything like that. And again, I'm not hating on someone that wants to get their money because go live together. Yeah, we should. I think you can do that, right? I'm gonna be on here for another like 15 minutes or so. But yeah, I agree because guys, think of it this way: a reseller in the sneaker community, which you guys are all aware of, if it's not sneakers, which right now it kind of isn't, it could be anything else. It could be tickets, it could be Labubu toys, it could be I'm reselling PS5s, it could be I'm reselling hats, I'm reselling, like it could be anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be sneakers. So the reseller DNA in them, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just me kind of breaking it down. Is the same with sneakers as it is for any other commodity ever, right? It's just someone that's using a way to obtain a profit on any sort of commodity good that in which demand exceeds the supply, and that could be anything, guys. If trying to find something just random in here, like if these like tape measures like became like super rare and sought after, guess what? There'd be a lot of resellers selling tape measures. I promise you, that's just what it is. And it doesn't matter what the product is. It just happened to be that sneakers were like extremely sought after for a certain amount of time. People want to pay a premium on shoes for whatever reason. So it doesn't matter what the commodity is. It could be sneakers, could be something else. Thoughts about Grounds by Mikio. Shoot, you're gonna make me have to Google this. I don't even know what that is. Bubbles? They have the bubbles on them? If that's what you're talking about, Carol, I have no idea. It might be. Yeah, those are out there. Definitely. I'll put it this way. Yeah, she said yeah. I don't typically participate in a lot of like. I don't want to say that's like a high fashion sneaker, but definitely appeals to a certain different audience that might be more into like. I don't want to say like a designer or like a runway stuff, but it's definitely like the next elevation of like fashion in my opinion. Like there's we could talk about another time, but there's these levels. Obviously, you guys know of like, you know, people that don't care, wear whatever they want. Then there's like the next level, and it's like I wear like, you know, jorts and crop tees, and I, you know, and then there's the next level. It's like I only wear this brand, and then there's the, you know, you see the guys that look like Playboy Cardi, and they're wearing like a goth like a vampire hood, and like that's fashion. That's like it's all the little different forms of fashion. I wear like the basketball related stuff that's very base level, like sneakers, like the most easiest concept to understand and look at and be like, oh, sneakers. Stuff that looks a little bit more yeah, designer, crazy, out there, flashy, big bubbles, all that. I don't really participate in that necessarily. So they look cool for those that like them. Let's see. I agree, man. Some people are just rude for no reason. I had a similar situation back in '08 with 11-12 countdown pack. Wow, CDB pack. So yeah, so that would have been 2000 and what year was that? Was that 2008? No, that 2010? It was something like that. It was before 2012. That's for sure. Um, yeah, there's the guys. There's snobbery in sneakers. 07, 08, yeah. There's like this weird like snob aspect of sneakers as well for those that are like that don't know about it, and anyone that is watching and knows about it knows what I'm talking about. There is like you could like pull up at like I'll put it this way: when I first started going like these sneaker shows and stuff like that, I was a kid, right? Like, and I would go and wear the craziest shoes I could find, like the coolest, rarest, basically the equivalent of whatever a Travis Scott is today. I'd wear some like collaboration, whatever sneaker, right? That's super rare. And I did it because you wear your best shoes to these shows or these whatever it is, because other people recognize it. Oh wow, that's a crazy shoe, whatever it is. But if you're showing up in a beat up pair of like Air Force Ones or something, I'm sure people are gonna look at you and be like, you really have to wear that? And I was definitely someone that was like that. I'd be like, man, I had a certain like, not that I thought I was better than other people, but I would definitely look at a pair of shoes and be like, man, like, that's not a rare pair of shoes, so that doesn't really impress me. Now it's completely different. Like I go out and I'll wear shoes. I have shoes that are like considered like the rare shoes or whatever. I'm gonna show you guys some. And I got shoes that are like they gotta be like $50, and I will wear those the exact same and like them the same amount. And it has nothing to do with the price or rarity of them anymore. But I'll show you two that have become exploded in the game. Here's one. I got these in these like silly little bags, but I don't want to say silly actually. The people that made these bags are very smart people. They just look kind of silly because that's how you have to store them. But they're actually an amazing product for those that are interested. It's called Capsule. I did a video for Capsule, and the technology is amazing. But basically, what this is doing is like preserving the shoe so that it doesn't like yellow and like age. And some people might look at this and be like, yeah, that's super silly. Just wear your shoes or whatever. You guys know about these. They're both dead stock, which is crazy because I just am like, I haven't worn them. I'm not planning on wearing them. Last I checked, like they were like, you guys know they're worth like a good amount of money. And again, this is not me flexing on YouTube, saying that. I'm just showing you guys. And there's that shoe, and then there's other shoes that aren't really worth anything that I'm happy to have, excited to have. But yeah, just speaking on that, if anyone's curious, Capsule is very nice technology. Basically, you put your shoes into the bag. You add there's certain like it's not it's not oxygen, it's something else. You add like their proprietary like air into it or whatever it is. It's a certain like air, and it actually keeps the shoe in like a preserved state, so that the sneaker can't yellow, it won't age as quickly, all these great things. And so for those sneakers, they go for a few $1,000s now, brand new. So for me to have them in boxes and not wear them and eventually think down the line, oh yeah, maybe I want to have these in 10 years or 20 years, they might be falling apart by then. So that's why this technology is great for any shoes that are super rare. You want to maintain them and maintain their health a little bit longer. Sneakers up here, like all this stuff, like these things here, they're not really worth like anything really. Like they're just shoes I wear. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's why I keep them in here, and you can see the light is hitting them because over time they're gonna yellow them. That's kind of what's happening. So it is what it is. They're just shoes at the end of the day. Of course, you want to take care of them and maintain them and all that, but you can't take them with you, so you got to wear them. What else we got? When your shoes are close to $200, it's hard to wear them normally. I feel you 1,000%. It's tough. Like especially breaking them out like the first time you wear them, and then like something crazy happens. Like, dude, the craziest stuff happens to me when I buy new sneakers. Like I'll like get a new shoe and be like, I probably shouldn't wear this today because I know that like whatever, they could get messy, or the day could get crazy. It's always those days, like the first day I bring them out or whatever, like, and I'm just like thinking, maybe I shouldn't. It's always those days when something horrible happens to them. Like, I'll wear a shoe and it'll be like super bright out, sunny, whatever, rainstorm, and I'm like not close to home. It'll be something like that, or like you're like you're at like a fair, or you're somewhere, you're eating something, boom, mustard stain, ketchup stain, whatever. And at that point, yeah, you're pissed off because you spent 200 on the shoe. Like, you spent $200 on the sneaker. Like, that's a lot of money. It doesn't come every day, and now, you gotta figure out a way to clean it. I don't know. You gotta clean up. There's great like cleaning technology too, but yeah, I hate that feeling, man. I hate that feeling. What size? I wear a size 11. I have some 10 and a half. I feel like my feet have shrunk a little bit over the years. I used to wear 11, 11 and a half, but most of my shoes are 11. Don't go into 11 and a half much anymore. I find them a little bit too roomy, but I wear 10 and a half too because I like the I like that like kind of snug fit. I'm gonna stick around here for another like couple minutes. If you guys have questions, comments, feel free. But I guess the last thing I'll just kind of, what was your career before this? Oh, this is not my career. This is just like something we're doing on the side here. See if I can take you guys around a little bit. I'll tell you guys a bit about what I did. I actually like was always into shoes for years. I always had a collection and stuff like that. Like, I was collecting shoes. I told you guys, like, since the early 2000s, and I always wanted to work in sneakers. That was the thing, like, I wanted to do, like, for my whole life. Even when I was a kid, like, I was like, oh, one day I'm gonna work at Nike, whatever it is, right? And I graduated from school. It was not that easy. I actually did I ended up doing my master's in school. Yeah, I was in university. I did all that, and I was like, okay, I gotta do more school because, like, I'm super privileged to be able to do these things, by the way. I just was like, man, I was working every job I could. I was a DJ. I was like all these things just to like earn money. And I went on to do more school because I'm like, that's how I'm going to get in, because I tried to apply to Nike like a million times, didn't get it. Went on, did my master's, still couldn't get a job at Nike or anything, Foot Locker, anything, to the point where I was like, oh, I'm just going to go work at a Foot Locker store, like on the floor, and maybe like just make something happen. Now, I had all these shoes. I had this sneaker collection. How do I flip this around? And actually more than this, okay? I remember, like when I was at my parents' place, I remember again, I wasn't buying like super rare shoes or anything like that. I was buying any sneakers that I just liked. And I was collecting them over time. I wasn't selling shoes. Like, there was no selling that was happening. It was all just like collecting sneakers. And so, I told myself, like, how am I gonna get this job at Nike if Nike's just looking at my resume or LinkedIn or whatever and just saying like, oh, this guy, he has a university degree or a college degree just like anyone else that wants to work here, which is the truth, because there wasn't anything special about me. I said, oh, I'm a big sneaker collector. I have sneakers. So what? Doesn't mean anything. And so I basically, look at this closet. It's just out of control. But I'm gonna show you guys. Like, this is just the stuff that I wear, but yeah, I mean, there's pairs all the way down here, and they just keep going. But basically, I just said, look, I got all these sneakers. I want to start doing like videos. So that's when YouTube came in. YouTube was actually the first platform I ever got involved with, and this was like 2009. I didn't start this channel in 2009, but I was messing around with YouTube with different other stuff. Music and sneakers, and actually early vlogging back then, which was just horrible. And the channel, I don't even know how to get into the channel anymore. But basically, I needed a way to show my background of like sneakers, like what I did. And so what I did was I created this YouTube channel. I started making content. I started making a lot of sneaker content because I was making these. I was like, oh, I got all these shoes. I finished work, I come home, and all I could think about was sneakers. I was on sneaker blogs. I was working at a company at that point right after university where I was doing, I was writing a lot of stuff. It wasn't at a sneaker company or sneaker blog, but it was a blog that like I could do sneaker content. So that was my way of being like, oh, I can create a portfolio for myself. Then I'm like, okay, the next step, I create a video portfolio. So that's when I started doing video. And remember, back in 2009, 2010, like 2011, 12, YouTube was still very like, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like a saturated. I'm not gonna say it's saturated now, but I'm gonna say that there's so many creators on YouTube. So it's a lot harder to kind of come up. When I was doing sneakers, I'm telling you right now, there was like 10 consistent sneaker channels on YouTube. Like in 2012, like I want to say like 10, maybe 20. Like there wasn't many. And so I started making content about sneakers. I'm telling you right then and there, like my videos, there wasn't much content out there. So it was very, a lot of people were tuning in on it. And now there's just, it's a little bit different. But that's how I was making the content. Then I started getting views. Then I started working with some brands. Brands started like, I'm telling you, this was so cool. They were like, just send me shoes. And to this day, like shout out to Under Armour. Under Armour still send me some stuff, and Puma and stuff. So shout out to those two brands. But I'm telling you, Nike sent me sneakers. I got a pair of Atmos Nike Air Max 1s. I never got anything from Jordan, I don't think. But Nike, Under Armour, Puma, like every brand you can imagine, sending me shoes. I wake up at my parents' place, because at that time I didn't have my own place. I was living at home. And I was like, shit, I was like 20, I had to be like 23 years old. And I wake up, stack of shoes, like outside, boom, do video. And so from there, then I got opportunities with these sneaker companies that kind of got my foot in the door. And then I started actually working at, and you guys know, my story. I started working for a sneaker company, and I couldn't do YouTube. I shut YouTube down in 2017. So I kind of, right when sneakers, I think, started really popping off, unfortunately, I didn't do YouTube. So I didn't really grow at all at that point, which is fine. I had to grow my career in a different way. And I took a break, took like a 4 or 5 year break off YouTube. I didn't do YouTube for 4 or 5 years. And then I just started jumping back in recently, like within the last year. I started being a bit more consistent with it because at this point, I already have a job. The YouTube thing isn't for me using it as I previously did. I accomplished that in my heart. I used it to get to where I need to be. But at the point now, I'm just doing it for, like, I think it's fun and interactive, and it helps me use different parts of my brain. So that's kind of the journey of how this whole thing happened. To answer your question, wow, that was a long answer. I have wide feet, so it's hard to find sneakers that fit. Yeah, you should look into the New Balance, like some of the wide New Balances. Those are fantastic. Like they'll fit really, really well. I'm gonna show you a couple of shoes that we have here. Maybe just a couple of random things that I have that I've been wearing lately. That could be a cool one. Anyone else pick up those metallic 5s or Flu Games or white cement 4s? We've had so many great releases this year. It's insane, man. I can't believe how many great shoes have come out. Even these. I can't even get these, but I'll just show you guys these two. Oh, Vicious 274. Appreciate you, bro. You know, it's funny about YouTube. You meet some cool people on YouTube that you just kind of click with. Like I've met so many, even in person. I've met some cool like people that watch the videos and like all that kind of stuff. It's fun. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. When I connect with people, I'll just have a conversation with them like this, and just to match someone else's energy about shoes and have these kind of conversations. I could do this. I could talk shoes for a week straight. How many different shoes do you rock in a month? Yeah, amazing question. It varies based on what the month is. If we're talking about the year, like summer, I'll try and wear a new pair. I will try to wear a new pair every day of summer. So like call it 90 days of summer, whatever. If you want to start from June and make your way all to September, I will try my best to wear a different pair every day if I can. Mind you, I'm also someone that, like, once I get into a shoe that I haven't worn in a minute, I wear that shoe maybe like 3, 4, 5 times in a row. I don't know. Some people aren't like that. Some people like to like wear their shoes, put them away. For me, when I like find a sneaker like in the collection, I'm like, oh, I haven't worn this in a minute. Then I put them on, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about these. This is why I like the shoe so much. They look so cool, or like they feel so great, or whatever it is. These aren't the most comfortable shoes in the world, but come on, man. Even if you don't like sneakers, you got to look at that sneaker and be like, that's a cool shoe. Look at that. It's like it's almost iridescent. It's just the material. Such a good shoe. But it's a sneaker like that I would put on and be like, you know what? I need to wear this for the next 5, 6 days in a row, 7 days. So it does vary to answer your question. Yeah, I'll try and wear a different shoe every day in summer though, for sure. And then in the winter, you're kind of just like, you're stuck to wearing like, I have like a winter, like a couple winter shoes. That's all you're wearing. You're not wearing anything else because the snow up here in Toronto is, I went to Miami recently, and I know why people live in Miami. I mean, the weather is insane. But if you live in the Northeast, like me, oh boy. So you collect anything else? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of boring like that. Not really. I'm not really, I know there's people that are like collectors and they just, that's part of their DNA and they collect a whole bunch of stuff. I don't, not really. I have like a pretty big hat collection, I guess. Not that big, but like, you know, more than what the normal person has. But I don't collect them. I just wear them because I just buy ones that I like. Mostly just sneakers, and I don't really know why it's only sneakers. Like I've gone from like some sneakers that I've just like gone rid of, like tons. Like I'm talking like early when I was living with my parents, like I got to that 400 pair mark, and there's people that have way more than that. And I got rid of tons. I probably got rid of close to 350 pairs, and even at that point, I kept buying them after that. I got rid of 350 pairs because I needed money to pay for other things that I have in my life, moving out and getting my own place and all those kind of things. But after that, I was in my head, I was like, oh, I got my favorite 50 shoes, like that's all I need. And then boom, I started getting back into it. So it's just been something in my life that like I've always appreciate shoes, love shoes for everything they are, like not for anything but what they are. Like me looking at this shoe, like again, this is another shoe. I saw this as a kid. I saw this sneaker as a kid. I don't know what this is. There was no internet. There was none of that. And I saw it again when I was older, and I was like, I need this. And then I started getting into like Penny Hardaway and all that, and understanding the history. And it's like, oh my god, like this cool. This shoe is so much cooler than just like what it is. Even just what it is, without the Penny Hardaway and all that kind of stuff and the history behind it. Just look at this shoe as someone that doesn't know anything about sneakers. You gotta say it's a cool shoe. And if you don't, that's completely fine too. But like, that's kind of where it like kind of goes out of control for me. You getting the Jordan 40? Man, that's a hooper shoe. That's a hooper shoe. I'm still playing like 1-2 times a week. But I'm playing in right now. I'm playing in Kobe 8s, Kobe 6. I'm playing in a pair of Anta. You know, Anta. Don't sleep on Anta. And what else? A couple other things. No, that's it. Just those. Just those. Yes, just those. Just the Kobe's mainly. Oh, I'm so sorry. A pair of KDs as well. KD 3s. I would like them. I can't really justify spending like two something on a pair of hoop shoes. To me, hoop shoes are different because I break down my hoop shoes, like they're gonna get destroyed. So I usually don't like buying like premium hoop sneakers, especially as an old man trying to play in an old man's league. We're not getting 10-day contracts. Yeah, thanks for the help on those bread ones. I got 100%, bro. You got a really good deal on those. Again, I spoke about this before you entered the live. This is the best time ever to buy sneakers. I don't think we're ever going to really find another time like this because supply is going to meet demand at a certain point where they start to shrink supply. Demand is there and things just sell out. Not sell out, but eventually sell out normally. Not like these crazy discounts. We're not going to see that. That's not a way a business can operate on sales. They don't run red tag sales for the rest of their life and think they're a successful company. It's never going to happen like this again. So if you like shoes, 2025, even last year, 2025, maybe even 2026 to a certain extent, get your shoes now. I'm telling you right now, it's I'm not saying sneakers are going to be like where they were before, where like we're reselling like crazy. I'm just going to say that supply is going to shrink. Demand is going to maybe shrink with it, but they're going to be aligned. And things are just going to sell normally. And so you won't find those crazy steals anymore. Check your Burlington, check your Ross, man. I see lots of videos about people getting good stuff there. Let's see here. Fear 4 is going on feet today. My sneakers hibernate in the winter in the 6. 100%, bro. I mean, it's hilarious. Like, you want to wear your sneakers in winter, like I do. I still wear them. Like, if it's not slushy, like it's just like even light snow, like just a very thin layer of snow, or no snow, but it's cold, I don't care. I'll wear sneakers if it's cold and there's nothing on the ground. Um, that is, I'm still 1,000% wearing shoes. Like I'll wear shoes up until December if it hasn't snowed yet. Because you got to maximize, like in Toronto, like you know about this. You got to maximize your wears because you know 3 months at least, 4 months at least, like it's gonna be disgusting out, and you can't wear any sneakers at all. And so like right now, like I'm loving this. This is June right now. Like man, I'm loving this weather. Like I'm loving this weather. It makes me want to go outside more and wear a pair of shoes. Like just it gives me like it's honestly gives me like a high feeling, like I don't know how to explain that. Like it gives me like an endorphin rush, like wearing this. Some people look at this stuff, like everyone that's watching right now, I guess feel the same way. But like for those that don't understand this, like they'll just never really get it, and that's completely fine. But like I get like a high rush, like wearing this, and it's just for me. Like I'm wearing it. Like I live in an area where there's no sneakerheads. Like there's like I'm downtown Toronto. Like there's yeah, but I'm living like a residential area. It's not like that, but it's not performing for other people. There are times when that happens, but like naturally, like anything else, like a convention or something. But here, I do not. Like you don't feel the same. You don't get that high feeling like me. And it's just me. I guess I'm a weird guy. I just like sneakers. That I love that. How much money do you make with YouTube? Yeah, I'll be real with you. Like, not basically nothing. So this right here that I'm doing is just me just experimenting with live. You know, full transparency. I'll just hit up, just being like, yo, you should try live. Like, you should try doing live. I'm like, I don't know if live is really something that I really want to do. But at the same time, like, I also kind of like, one thing I'll tell you guys, like, when you do something that's a hobby, you know, and when it's a hobby, that means it's pretty much for yourself. And you start doing something, and it doesn't feel like, yeah, it's lost. Okay, let me rewind. When you're doing a hobby, you're doing it for yourself and you're having fun with it. That's why you do it. But if you're doing a hobby and it doesn't feel fun anymore, you don't do it anymore. Naturally, you stop doing the hobby. Same with YouTube. I was doing YouTube, and it wasn't feeling fun anymore. It wasn't feeling exciting. I literally was making content that was just like content I would personally hate to watch. Like I was like, look at these Yeezys and like look at this just stupid clickbait stuff that like people I guess wanted to watch. That I tried it, you know, I tried it because I wanted to continue making the channel, but like, bro, that's not me, man. You know, that's never gonna be me. Like I can't do that. Like I just can't. I want to do that. I would love to have 100,000 million subscribers and making crazy money off this, but that's not what it. That I couldn't. I just can't do that. So I just not even like a moral thing. I just physically cannot put on the camera and start talking about something I don't like or don't care about. And again, that goes back to like, if it's a hobby and you're having fun with it, keep doing it. If it doesn't feel good, stop doing it. Simple as that. Don't have to overthink it. It's just what it is. So yeah, no money right now. So, you know, probably not really gonna be anything unless I can get this going. But like live is fun. Like I like talking with, you know, just doing this. Don't get mad, but I think sneaker collectors stick with sneakers because that's all they can afford to vast amount. Unlike wealthy people who collect watches and cars. No, I don't take any offense to that. I think you're absolutely right. Definitely levels to all this kind of stuff because people collect cars. Shoot, think about a car. Like, bro, a nice car. That's not even touching like. That's like all these sneakers is like none of like a piece of that one car. People collect cars with an S. That's a whole nother level. I don't understand that. People have boats out here. I live near the lake. Like you see people on boats like going all over the place. That's a whole nother level. Like would love to be there. I'm not. So this is what I do. I do not like sneakers. Yeah, we talked about that. I mean that's cool. Yeah, I think if you like sneakers, you continue participating. I feel the high also. I wear mine until the street salts come out. Yeah, I like that. It's a funny thing that you can ask yourself or ask anyone else that participates in sneakers or any other hobby for that matter, and ask them why they do it, why they like it, why, you know, and everyone has a different reason. Again, like I said, mine is different than yours. Mine is because I saw things and now I want to get them back. Other people, literally, this guy Vicious 274 in the chat. This guy's a real OG. He had the shoes back when Jordan was playing them. Like he was getting them while they became a thing. So that's literally someone that was like born when or in it when sneaker culture was born. Like he was doing that. And he's not gonna stop. It's like me. It's like if you were into sneakers for 20 years, why would you stop the next 20 years? You're always gonna have that in you. Doesn't matter what's happening. So it just depends on like who you are. And same with the kids today. Shoot, there could be kids out there that like think about it this way. I sometimes I had this conversation with someone that's like, oh, Travis Scott sneakers, and just for you guys to know, like you know, for those, you know, Travis Scott sneakers, that might be like the most memed like sneaker. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a memed sneaker. And I have a pair. I have a couple pairs up there, and it's kind of like one of those like cringy, potentially things that like kids wear, and their whole collection is just like Travis Scott sneakers and off white, and it's just like, what are you doing? But at the same time, I have to have my counter argument to that is like that person, Travis Scott, is basically someone's Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like that may sound crazy, but like that's their Michael Jordan. Like they grew up and they saw him, and they went to some crazy Astro World concert, and they saw Travis Scott do his crazy dance and jump around on stage, and, you know, do something crazy, and that was such an impactful moment to them that they needed the shoes. And now for the next 20 years, when they look back as a kid, they'll be like, yeah, I remember seeing Travis Scott perform live, and I had the shoes. That was back in the day. Like those are crazy memories. How can I hate on that? Like that's amazing for them. Like that's amazing for you if that's something that you grew up on. This whole sneaker culture and snobism, I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like the snobbery, I guess that's a word, is so silly, man. So silly. Just buy, wear what you like, and don't even, you know, I'll tell you one thing, the people with the biggest collections, they don't even have social media because they don't care. They don't need a like or a comment or whatever to justify what they buy or wear, for that matter. They just do it for themselves. I respect that. That's amazing. What do you do now? I work. I mean, I can't really talk about it, but I work within like the footwear industry. So you need to see them all put that money away instead of setting yourself back with every new pair. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. I'll put it this way, if you're still on the chat. If you are someone that is buying sneakers, you need to 1000% remember that like footwear is not having a 500 pairs of shoes in your collection. That's not a necessity, right? You can have 1-2 pairs of shoes. Life goes on tomorrow. You're going to be completely fine. You can have one pair of shoes. They're beat up. Life goes on. You're going to be fine. Take care of the priorities first. If you're behind on rent or you're not saving enough money for something else, if you're not taking care of your kids, family, your spouse, your partner, you know what priorities are. Those need to be taken care of first. You know what I mean? Like this is simple, but it needs to also be said because it's easy to be like, oh, I'm at the store. I shouldn't buy this shoe, but I'm going to. Yeah, keep it in mind because you need to prioritize things in your life first. I prioritize these things at the beginning of the month or whatever it is. And once the priorities have been taken care of, and then I've kind of forecasted or looked forward to the rest of the month, say, okay, I need X amount of money, and I have X amount of money left to buy one pair of shoes. Fantastic. You know what I mean? Like that's how you should be purchasing and spending. You know what I mean? It's not about. It's not. I'll tell you this. It's not a flex to have 500 pairs of shoes and be behind in rent. It's not a flex to have 500 pairs of shoes and you got you got a small daughter. I don't have kids, but say you have a little kid and the kids doesn't have the right clothes. It's not a flex to have like a nice car and have like be behind on other payments when you can help it. You know what I'm saying? So prioritize things and then do what you want to do on the side if you can. Again, this whole thing's a privilege. I'm more than blessed to be able to have a stable job and all these other things to be able to afford these kind of things. This is not a thing that everyone can do. So that's what it is. But it is something that like if you participate in it, just do it smart because there's some crazy stuff that happens out there. Not just for sneakers, but for cars, for everything, houses, and it's like it goes into something very strange that it's a whole nother video for me to have to talk about. But that flex culture, it's all about flex culture. Like people want to do that to flex and show off on the social media and all that kind of stuff. That's where a lot of the sneaker stuff is born too, right? Like to flex on other people, to show other people what kind of stuff you have. And if you get sucked into that part of life, you're gonna be in big trouble. You're gonna be at the club, you're gonna be doing all sorts of foolish stuff, and you're gonna be like, shouldn't have done that. Let's see what we got here. Started in 1989. Okay, so not 85. My apologies, or 84. But only caught my first pair of white cement 4s in 2025, 36 years later. I love that for you, sir. I love that for you. I mean, come on. That's crazy. You started in 89. I started in 2002. So we're not too far apart. But yeah, my first white cements were in 2012, the one with the Jumpman on the back. And then I'm very pleased to I got the 2016. Those had Nike Air, if you guys remember. And then the new one's 2025. So Vicious, I'm happy you got your pair, bro. Cool shoe. Can you believe all these shoes are coming out again? Amazing time to be into sneakers. The white cement 4 got me into sneakers in '89. There you go. That's you gotta get 2 pairs, bro. You might have to get 3 pairs. I don't know, man. I'm not all about the overspending on things. They're silly, but like that, this shoe might not come out for a very long time again. Think about it. It's your favorite shoe. You're only living once. You can't take them with you. So I appreciate your replies. You're a really civil and chill dude. Try to be. We're gonna wrap this up in a couple minutes if nobody has any other questions. Yeah, I mean, things that you learn in life. Like I have learned a lot in my life at this point that changes how I speak to people and how I act, I guess. And a lot of it is just based on like life experiences and like there's very simple things that you can do in life. Just be nice to people as best you can. You're not always gonna have the best day, and some days you're not gonna be the nicest person. But if you can help it, that'd be great. And then just try to do good in general. And the rest kind of falls into place, I guess you could say. So try those 2 things. It's very hard. I don't do it every day, but I try, and I think good things will happen.